Hello, we're going to start a video series, a playlist about maintenance topics, and this is the first video, motor oil. So this is a huge topic online, and you'll find, forums with endless discussions on motor oil. So we're going to try to make it as simple as possible. So in this video, we're going to talk about an oil change interval. How many miles should you drive between oil changes? We're going to talk about how you know what the oil change, what the oil weight is for your vehicle, like 0W20, that's an oil weight. And we're going to talk about certifications, API and ILSAC certifications. And then how do you select out of the so many choices, how do you know which oil to pick? So we're going to cover that. So the opinionated arguments abound in forums, but I want to just start off with saying that I think the frequency, as long as you're using an oil that is recommended, that meets the recommendations by the manufacturer, I would argue that the oil change interval, how many miles between changes, probably matters more over the life of your vehicle than which qualified oil you pick. So most people do an oil change interval of somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 miles if they're using a full synthetic motor oil. 3,000 used to be the standard back in the day, so that was conventional oil before synthetic came about. And so with synthetic, 3,000 intervals are a waste of money because all synthetics will last at least 5,000 miles. Also, you might be thinking about your maintenance minder. I choose when to change my oil. I do not follow the maintenance minder. If I followed my maintenance minder, I could probably go 8 to 10,000 miles, no problem. But so this is where some of my opinions come in about how valuable your engine is and how this is the most economical thing that you can do to make your car last a very long time. So I'll save you the suspense. I'm going to talk about it, but my recommendation is a 5,000 mile oil interval. If any of you have a manufacturer recommendation that's more frequent than that, please share it in the comments, because I'm not aware of any manufacturer with full synthetic oil that even recommends anything more frequent than 5,000 miles. So with just to talk a little bit about cost and why I go with the 5,000 mile interval. So I have a Honda Pilot and a Honda Ridgeline, both with a V6. Both of them take 5.7 quarts of oil. And the manufacturer recommendation is 7,500 mile intervals from Honda. But I do it at 5,000. And some people would say, well, that's a waste of money. Well, for my Pilot and my Ridgeline, I use a very high quality oil and filter. And those two together with the oil, the filter, the crush washer, and tax cost me about $55 per oil change. If I went with the cheapest qualified oil, as we'll talk about later in the video, if I went with the cheapest oil and filter, I could probably cut that down from $55 all the way down to $30 if the cost was a huge deal. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to spend that much, but I'm just going with it the highest price of $55 to buy my own oil filter and crush washer. If you looked at it, how much does it cost me more to change my vehicle's oil every 5,000 miles as opposed to 7,500 miles? So I'm looking at the ownership of 105,000 miles of driving. If I do it at a 5,000 interval, I'll change that oil 20 times. My 20th oil change will be at 100,000 miles, and that would get me to 105. On a 7,500 mile interval, I would have 13 oil changes, and my 13th change at 97,500 would get me to 105,000. So at $55 per oil change, I would pay over the life of the 105,000 miles, I would pay $1,100 if I was on 5,000 intervals, and I would pay $715 if I was on 7,500 mile intervals. So if I went with the longer interval, it would save $385 over a 105,000 mile ownership period. So if you drive 15,000 miles a year, you would save the cost of one oil change per year, which would be $55 a year. Most people aren't going to notice that $4 and something a month to do that. If my two daughters have vehicles that take less oil, Hyundai Elantra and a Mazda CX-5, they're using high quality oil and filter also, and they're paying about $45 per oil change, everything included, oil filter, crush washer, and tax. They could also get that down under $30 if they were using the cheapest out there. And so for them, it's going to be a similar story, but it would cost them $45 more a year to go with the 5,000 mile interval than the 7,500 mile interval. So I recommend a 5,000 mile interval. So we want to follow the manufacturer requirements for oil weight. The easiest way to find out what your manufacturer recommends is to look at the oil cap in your engine. So you pop the hood, you'll see an oil cap that has 0W-20 on it, or 5W-20, or whatever it is. That's what you use. All right, so when you open the hood on your car, wherever you put oil in, it's going to have a cap similar to this. And on that cap, it's going to say what the manufacturer recommends. So this is SAE 0W20 for this particular vehicle. This is from a Honda Ridgeline. The other way is to verify that is to look in an owner's manual, and you'll find the weight of the oil, like the 0W20, and you'll also find a certification that's either API or ILSAC. All right, so we definitely want to look in our owner's manual to find out what the manufacturer recommends. So this is owner's manual out of my 2021 Honda Ridgeline. This is the warranty information out of my Honda Ridgeline. One thing I want to point out in the warranty information, some people think that they can't do any maintenance or it'll void their warranty, and that's not true. So I just want you to see what this says in here. This is on page 37. It's basically encouraging you to take it to an authorized Honda dealer so they can make money off of you. But it says if someone else has been performing the maintenance, you may need to provide evidence that you have properly maintained the vehicle. This can consist of either copies of repair orders or other receipts, including the odometer, mileage, and date that it was serviced, and each receipt signed by a qualified automotive service technician, or a statement that you completed the maintenance yourself, showing the odometer, mileage, and date you did the work. Receipts for replacement parts, fluids, filters, etc. should accompany this statement. So just so you know, this is only if you were trying to have maintenance work done. You had something go wrong under warranty work. And then they said, well, have you been maintaining your vehicle? Most of the time, you're probably not going to have to provide all that, but that's what you need, is just some basic documentation. Save your receipts in an automotive file if your car's under warranty and you're concerned about that. So on to the owner's manual. How do I know what my manufacturer recommends? So there's a statement here. This is on page 499 of my manual. All these manuals have indexes in the back where you can look up oil and different fluid recommendations and things like that. I just looked up oil in the index. Recommended engine oil. Of course, they're going to recommend a Honda oil. That's not necessary. It says it should be 0W20 oil with an API certification seal on the container. So API certified and 0W20, that's about as basic of requirements as you're going to get. So I don't know of an automotive oil that's for sale that would not be API certified. So just to give you a few examples, this is a Mobile One. This one on the back says, now this is a 5W20, this is for my daughter's Elantra. but this is a 5W20. So it says right there what the weight is, and it says API Service SP. So other than the API certification, there's different levels of API certification. This Honda manual doesn't even go that far. It just says API certified. You'll also see on here, these are some other certifications you might see referenced. ILSAC, ILSAC GF-6A, API SP, SN Plus, SN, and SM. So these are all API certifications. So all those, if this were 0W20, it would be okay for that. This is a Valvoline Restore and Protect. This is going to be, this round seal there has the weight 0W20, API Service SP, ILSAC GF-6A, API SP, API SN with SN Plus, API SN. So all the oils are going to meet that, all the motor oils. So these are all synthetic. This is a Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic 0W20, 0W20 API Service. So I just meets or exceeds the requirements of ILSAC GF-6A, API SP, in all previous categories. So really the main thing you want to know is what weight of oil do I put in, and you can find out in here, but like we said, the easiest way is to look at where you put oil in your car, and it's going to be printed right there on the oil cap. If you follow that and get a full synthetic, it's going to meet the requirements, but that's how you check to make sure. Okay, so when we talk about these ratings on the back of these bottles with this circle, it's going to represent the API, and then you'll see the ILSAC information over there. So what does that mean? API is an acronym that stands for American Petroleum Institute, and then ILSAC was founded the American Automobile Manufacturers Association and the Japan Automobile Manufacturers Association, so a joint effort between America and Japan, founded ILSAC in 1992. ILSAC members include Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, and what ILSAC standards include are fuel economy requirements and spark ignited internal combustion engines. They test for fuel economy in chain wear. So how are ILSAC standards and API standards related? So the ILSAC oil ratings are based on API categories. So we might see a API, so like on this one, this Valvoline Restore and Protect, it says ILSAC GF-6A API SP, API SN with SN Plus, API SN Resource Conserving. So they're related, but basically your owner's manual is probably going to either have an API certification or an ILSAC certification, or in some cases it might mention both. So some of the terminologies with oil are conventional, synthetic, and a synthetic blend. So conventional is the way it used to be before synthetic was invented. That's back in the days where you changed your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles. Then synthetic was invented, and with synthetic, the time is really no longer a factor. It's more of a mileage, a wear thing, and they last a lot longer. So a synthetic blend just means you're blending conventional and synthetic for a synthetic blend. So your quality, your conventional oil is the lowest quality, your synthetic blend is next highest, and then your highest quality is full synthetic. So for our purposes, I'm just going to say that I recommend full synthetic. You can get full synthetic oil for a good enough price where it does not pay to try to go with anything less than full synthetic. So we recommend full synthetic oil. So how do I select a motor oil? There are so many to choose from. So the motor oils that I am going to discuss with you now are all full synthetic. They meet API standards, and we're going to talk about pricing for a 5-quart container. So all the prices I'm giving are for 5 quarts, and I'll note one that's a 2-pack, but I'll still give the 5-quart price. So the prices I'm going to share with you, I just got today when I made this video from the Walmart website. I'm not promoting Walmart. I just wanted to get them all from the same location, from somewhere that has reasonably priced products. So you definitely can buy motor oil at Walmart. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it at big box stores. You can buy it at all your auto parts stores are gonna have oil. And so it is good to get online and do some comparison shopping sometimes. But we're just gonna go from cheapest to most costly. And so remember that we said that opinions abound and biases and arguments abound on motor oil. And so when it comes down to it, if you're on a budget, and my dog is drinking water loudly in the background, if you are on a budget and you say, hey, I don't have money, I just want to take care of my vehicle, you are okay buying the cheapest full synthetic oil that meets the standard. And I'm just going to tell you that, again, if you find an oil that doesn't meet API standard or the ILSAC standard, put it in the comments. But all the full synthetics that I think you're going to find anywhere for automotive use meet that standard. So all the ones that I'm mentioning meet that standard. All right, so from cheapest to most expensive, and again, all these are priced for 5-quart containers, and they're full synthetic oils. The first one is not from Walmart, it's from Costco, membership required. I've never had a membership to Costco, so I'm not promoting them, but they have a Kirkland Signature store brand where you can get that for $18 per 5-quart container. However, you do have to buy 2 of them. It's a 2-pack for $36 for 10 quarts. So just be aware of that. That's the cheapest one I was able to find. At Walmart, SuperTech, $18.64. Walmart Quaker State, $22.97. The second one that's not from Walmart is Amazon. Amazon Basics Motor Oil, full synthetic, $23.96. All these are from Walmart starting here. Castrol GTX, $23.96. Valvoline Advanced, $26.97. Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, $26.98. Castrol Edge Advanced, $27.48. Mobile One, $27.97. Royal Purple High Performance, $37.56. So that last one, Royal Purple, would not recommend it. It's $10 higher than the next highest one, and it's, I'm going to say, not as good as a lot of those that are $10 cheaper. So you're talking about throwing out the high one there with the Royal Purple, talking about a low of $18 for 5 quarts and a high of $28. So a $10 range. All 3 of these would be somewhere between probably $26 to $28. Most of these are in the $28 range. So they're at the high end. But again, if you're on a budget and you wanted to use the Kirkland Signature or the SuperTech, you would still be meeting the requirements. So what's the difference? Detergent packages, additives. So the different companies try to set themselves apart by adding different detergent packages, and then they do all sorts of testing, and this is a science, and so that's where your biases come in. That's where marketing comes in, and the type of testing. So just because somebody does a test that proves that they say proves something, it may or may not, because there's a bunch of other tests that they didn't do that may have a different outcome. So there's an endless number of tests. So what do I use and why? So this is for my daughter's Elantra, but once this bottle's gone with her next oil change, not going to use that anymore. So after that, I'm going to be down to just these two. This one, Valvoline Restore and Protect. Going to use this for my daughter's Hyundai Elantra and my other daughter's Mazda CX-5, because they were both purchased with over 100,000 miles on them and not knowing the maintenance history or oil change intervals. So this oil is known for not only protecting but also cleaning and restoring the engine, getting rid of deposits. So I thought it'd be a good choice to use on those two high mileage vehicles where we don't know the history. On my two Hondas, the Pilot and the Ridgeline, that were both purchased used, but with one of them had 20-some thousand miles and one of them was like 32,000 or something like that. So I know a lot of the maintenance history on those, and I've done most of it myself, and so I know they're well cared for, and those engines aren't going to have deposits in them. So I'm using this oil for that, the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic. This other one is the Valvoline Restore and Protect. So that's just what I'm using. As far as my oil filter, that's going to be another video, another one of these maintenance topic videos, so I hope you'll look forward to that. The last thing I want to say, that because we're talking about price and trying to save you money, is normally I don't fall for gimmicks or like bundling of things, but hey, if it saves you money and you're going to buy it anyway, then it really is saving you money. So on the oil and the filter bundles, they'll have sales on these at the major auto parts stores like AutoZone and Advance Auto Parts and O'Reilly's and places like that, where you can get online and do your comparison shopping. So you can look at Walmart, you can look at Amazon, you can look at the main auto parts stores and do it all online and say, okay, if I buy this oil and this filter separately and I add those two prices together, that's what that's going to cost me for my oil change. Then I can go to these major auto parts stores and I can do their bundle price and just compare the price and see what's better. So I have found that on the most recent order I did, I'd ordered 3 bundles. I ended up getting them from Advance Auto Parts because they had a 20% off their bundles, and so I saved quite a bit of money bundling the 5-quart jug with the oil filter of preference that I had. So I saved at least, I'm going to save at least $5 per oil change doing that. So it's worth checking that out. Thank you for watching. I hope that's been helpful.